The 26th of June every year since 1988 is being observed as the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking after a resolution of the United Nations General Assembly. The whole problem of drug abuse and illicit trafficking has many aspects to it, starting from the abusers at one end and their humanitarian rehabilitation to international cartels working across borders. Meghalaya of late has seen a spurt in drug users and obviously its availability. To discuss the issues related to drug abuse, we have with us the Director General of Police, Meghalaya, Dr.L.R. Bishnoi. Thank you for your time, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, let us start off straight away. And recently we had the Meghalaya State Assembly elections. And while the different flying squads were attempting to ensure that there is no lure of money to influence voters, quite inadvertently, they got in their net over 30 crores of drugs. Dr. Bishnoi, that must have been an eye-opener for the anti-drug police force in the state?
Yes, I agree with you. As you have mentioned, the drug abuse has many dimensions like social dimension, economic dimension, geographical dimensions. And UN General Assembly has passed a resolutions and decided to celebrate 26 June as an International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking because it's a global problem.
Right, sir.
And the UN General Assembly desired that all the countries of the world should come together and fight this menace unitedly, jointly. The state of Meghalaya is a very, very sensitive because of its close proximity to Golden Triangle area.
That's right.
It has almost 440 kilometer borders with Bangladesh and 884 kilometer border with Assam. And most of the border areas are porous, not properly fenced, and at many places not properly demarcated. And large number of the consumers are present in the state of Meghalaya. That is a cause of concern for all of us. And increasingly, this problem is spreading in the countryside or rural areas because earlier it was concentrated only in urban areas.
That's right.
And unfortunately, a lot of the young girls are falling prey to this drug abuse problems. Earlier it was mainly limited to the male populations, but now female populations, equal number of drug abusers are noticed. And the recent spurt in the drug seizure by Meghalaya police demonstrated our resolve and professionalism, but it is also a grim testimony to the reality.
That's right.
That large number of youths are tempted toward drugs. And we shall not remain silent towards the plight of thousands of youths. So by keeping these in views, the Meghalaya police has launched a special drive against the drug traffickers and to save the youth from the drugs menace. Because drugs not only harms individuals, drug abuser, but it can ruin the society.
Absolutely.
It has potential to tear the social fabric to the shreds.
Yes.
And the damage caused by drugs, physical damage, economic damage, legal damage, medical damage is immense. It is beyond description. The words are not enough to describe the miseries faced by the families. So that is why we are so much concerned about this, and the Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya has emphasized towards the drug-free Meghalaya, and he has instructed us to go all out against the drug traffickers. So that is why, to strengthen the enforcement part of it, we have constituted anti-narcotic task force in all the districts, and they are doing good jobs. And every fortnight, I am personally taking review of the seizures and the progress in the investigation of the cases. Every month, the Honorable CM reviews it. Everybody is concerned. So we have also launched massive awareness programs in the school, colleges, universities.
So we'll come to that a little later, sir.
Okay.
Let us talk about the challenges you are facing in controlling the inflow of drugs in the state. Some areas, like you were mentioning, drug availability and transaction have already been identified. As you said earlier, it was in the urban areas. Now, even in the rural areas, some areas have been identified, and we saw those names of those places in the news recently. So what needs to be done? What are the challenges that we are facing?
See, it has social, economic and geographical dimensions. The drug traffickers, they operate without any borders. They never go for jurisdictional approach.
That's right.
There is a huge network of traffickers, or we can call the top level trafficker, key players in the whole drug trafficking business, then middle level, then the lower level peddlers are there. When such a huge network is there, it takes a lot of time to control this menace. Secondly, this generates huge amount of money. This is a very, very lucrative business. And once youth join this business, then the greed overpowers him, and it will be very, very difficult to come for anybody to come out of these problems. And thirdly, the supply and demand relationship is there, and because the consumers are continuously increasing, the drug abusers are continuously increasing. When the demand is there, then the supply, they found one or other way, and they keep on changing their modus operandi.
So
other challenge for us is basically that now they have adopted new modus operandi, like they started using darknet. They can purchase and sell through darknet, where the two individuals need not to come in contact physically. And for us, it is very, very difficult to check the darknet transactions, because we don't have that kind of infrastructure, particularly in the rural police stations, where the robust cyber crime system is not in place. So that is another challenge for all of us. And then because they have huge amount of money, so from our side, the keeping track of their latest modus operandi and techniques, sometimes the gap is there and we have to plug that gap. Then another challenge is the successful prosecutions. When we arrest the drug traffickers and they seize substantial amount of drugs, that is not the end of it, because after that we have to investigate the forward and backward linkages.
That's right.
And also file comprehensive charge sheet in the court and ensure the conviction. When the conviction happens, that can only prevent the deterrent, prevent the drug trafficker to join drug trafficking again. But unfortunately, the conviction rate is not as per our expectation. In spite of our best efforts, the conviction rate is still not at optimum level. And another problem we are facing is that even if we arrest the drug traffickers, after spending some time in jail, they come out on bail and they again join the drug trafficking. So there are many cases of repeated offenders who indulge in cases repeatedly, drug trafficking repeatedly, and that is also a challenge for us, how to control it. Although there are laws, but the successful implementations may take some time.
So are the laws adequate, sir? Are you getting the support of existing laws, and are they enough?
Laws are good. There are two particular I would like to quote. One is a Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985, and another is PIT NDPS Act. PIT means the Prevention of Illicit Trafficking. PIT NDPS and NDPS, there are two acts. Provisions are very good, but problem lies at the implementation stage, because the successful prosecution is the key, which can prove real deterrent for the drug trafficker. But conviction level is, there is a strong need to enhance the conviction level so that it can prove as a real deterrent. So that we are trying our best. So, but that is still remains a challenge. But the laws, by and large, laws are adequate. Laws are quite stringent, and if implemented in toto, then laws are very good.
Okay, sir. Let's move on to another aspect of the drug use and drug abuse. At the society level, what do you think needs to be done to ensure that the youth stay away from the drugs? The society also has a responsibility.
Definitely, the responsibility starts with individual, of course. The individual away from drugs, certain qualities he should inculcate from the families. The second responsibility lies with family to take care of the children and not allow children to stay under stress and tensions. The responsibility also lies with the teachers, school, college, university teachers, not only teachers but even the supporting staff of the teachers. They have to be extra vigilant and alert to ensure that the youths are not falling prey to the drugs. The religious leaders, the community leaders, they have very important role to play. And even media has colossal role to generate awareness among the masses. All kinds of media, social, electronic, all India radio, social media, they have huge responsibility, particularly in creating awareness among the masses, so that the youth in general, youth in particular and citizen in general, they should be aware about the pernicious consequences of drug abuse. If once they are fully aware, then they will try to remain away from drugs, because out of curiosity, sometimes youth start taking, say, tobacco, then they go to the level of alcohol and ultimately to drugs. So sometimes they are not basically aware about the consequences. They think that if we take 1 or 2 times, after that we discontinue it. But once they become addicts, then their brain and then body used to drugs only, and without drugs they cannot sustain. So that is why there is a strong need of all the stakeholders, including families, teachers, administrative staff, community leader, religious leaders, prominent citizens. Everybody should come forward and join hands in the war waged by the Meghalaya police, and unitedly, I am sure, we can control this problem.
So how serious is the problem in Meghalaya?
Meghalaya is a quite serious problem. In 2019, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, they have conducted a survey of drug abusers in all the states and union territories of India. And in that survey in 2019, if I remember correctly, they found that in Meghalaya nearly 2.5 lakh drug abusers were there at that time. So now it may be more than 3 lakhs. So in small states like Meghalaya, if such a large number of youths are taking drugs, so you can very well say that problem is a very, very grave and serious.
So what are the different sensitization programs your department is running?
So we have adopted a 5-pronged strategy to overcome this problem. Our first strategy is to create awareness among the masses in general and youth in particular. So now from 12th June to 26th June, the government of India has decided to observe Nasha Mukt Pakhwada, Nasha Mukt Bharat Pakhwada. So we are also integral part of that Pakhwada, and during these 15 days, you will be happy to know that Meghalaya Police has fixed a target of creating at least 1,000 sensitization programs, 1,000 awareness programs, and from 12th June to till today, we will complete 1,000 targets.
That is fantastic.
So that is one. Our first strategy is to continue. This is not a one-day process. We will continue to create awareness among the masses till the problem is fully evaporated from the states. So there is not a time for us to cheer, because still we have not achieved our desired results. Our second strategy is sustained crackdown against drug trafficker, that is a enforcement. Under this strategy, we go for arrest of traffickers, seizures of drugs, seizures of mobile phone used by them, and seizures of vehicles, and also breaking their network by arresting forward and backward linkages, by cooperating with the other adjacent states of Meghalaya. That is our second strategy. Our third strategy is to ensure successful conviction in the court. We are emphasizing on capacity building of our own officers. So we have organized series of trainings so that our sub-inspector level officer, they can understand the nitty-gritties of NDPS Act, and they can successfully submit good charge sheet, robust charge sheet in the court for successful prosecution. So that is our third strategy. Our fourth strategy is also ensure ourselves in rehabilitation process. Although rehabilitation is generally taken care by the social welfare and health department, but we have also visited rehabilitation center. I have personally visited all the rehabilitation center of the Shillongs in Shillong towns, and I really felt pity for the youth who have fallen prey to the drug abuse, and I'm so sorry for the miseries faced by the families also. So our appeal to all the stakeholders that we have to work unitedly. So this is our fourth strategy. Our fifth strategy is the involvement of the media in creating awareness among the masses. So whenever the seizures are done, generally we involve the media so that they should publish the consequences of drug abuse, and youth shall be aware about this thing. So involvement of media and other community leaders, we are also doing that. Our sixth strategy is using technology. With the help of the cyber crime cells and available technology, we have cracked many cases, and we have also nabbed the drug traffickers and peddlers on the basis of technological inputs. So these six strategies presently we are undertaking to control this menace. But it will take time. Instantly it can't give results, and these six strategy, although there is a upsurge in seizures by Meghalaya police, we have broken the last 50-year records in seizures, and we have arrested more than 440 drug traffickers during last 1 year. We have registered nearly 230 cases. We have seized more than 200 vehicles. We have seized nearly 450 mobile phones and 77 lakh rupees cash also. But still it is not very effective because the consumers are continuously on the rise. And that is a real cause of concern for all of us, because the police alone cannot control this problem. Each and every segment of the society has to join hands and help police to break the supply chain, to arrest the traffickers. So it is a problem which requires the participation by all sections of the society.
So on the one hand, you have spoken about how strict action is being taken against peddlers and drug traffickers. On the other hand, this year's theme particularly talks about empathy and showing empathy towards users or those who are coming out of drugs and the family. The language that is to be used should be respectable. So in that aspect, what kind of sensitization programs are being done?
So during sensitization also we emphasize on these things. There should not be, the drug abusers should not be stigmatized. There should not be any discriminations between the drug abusers and the normal youth, and their families should not be discriminated. That is our endeavor all the times. And even when we arrest the drug trafficker, generally we become very tough with them. But when we arrest the drug addict or drug abusers, we generally treat them just like a victim, because it is beyond their control.
Exactly.
Already by taking drugs continuously for a couple of years, more than 3-4 years, their central nervous system is damaged beyond control, and they are not in position to think logically, to think rationally. So generally we don't use any harsh languages against them. We never beat them. We only basically ensure and try to console them. Whatever existing counseling system at Thana level is available, they do a lot of counseling to convince them, and also seek the cooperations of the families and the community leaders. Sometimes we invite the community leader and church leader to the police station, how you can help these guys to overcome these problems. And even we ensure the rehabilitation. And when the drug addict themselves sometimes are apprehended with small quantity of drugs, then we make them aware. If you declare in the court to undergo voluntary treatment in the rehabilitation or de-addiction centers, then we will not oppose their bail, and rather we can ensure that they are granted bail so that they can undergo treatment. But only thing requirement is that they should submit the undertaking in writing in the court that they are willingly and voluntarily ready to undergo the medical treatment. So our approach is a very, very humane approach, and we never, treat drug abusers in a very harsh, by using harsh language. We never give any stigma, and we always, in our awareness programs also, we emphasize on this. Stigmatized and discriminations of drug abuser cannot lead us anywhere. We have to adopt humane approach during investigations also. But if a actual key player, and whenever the big real-time drug traffickers are arrested, then we are tough with them.
So because this age group that usually falls prey to drug abuse either belongs to the later years of school or in colleges and universities, you already mentioned that teachers and the supporting staff of schools must be very vigilant. Other than being vigilant, is there any other advice you would give to teachers and professors of schools and colleges?
So there are the few suggestions for the teachers. First thing is, generally when the students, they start taking drugs, there will be change in their behavior. And that behavior can be observed either by family members or by the teachers, because other than family, maximum time they spent in schools only.
Right.
So if the teachers are very meticulous, and if they are keenly observe their behavior, and then they can, I think, find out if there is something wrong with the students. For example, one student is brilliant, he used to score good marks, and if grades are suddenly drastically fallen, then teachers should suspect that there is something fishy. So of keen, meticulously observing the behavior of the students consistently, giving them real-time counselings, encouraging them to take parts in the sports, musics, and other co-curricular activities so that they should remain happy. Also continuously interacting with them, because if teachers will not interact with them, then the students will feel shy to disclose about these things. The teachers should be very friendly with them, consistently interact with them, encourage them to play, encourage them to mix up, make good friends, and also advise them to remain away from the bad company, because ultimately it is the peer group pressure which led to them towards the drugs. If they are in the bad company, it is the duty of the teachers to prevent them from the bad company. And encouraging them to play sports is very important. Even if they play sports 40 minutes, 30 minutes daily, that can generate a lot of happiness in their mind, and they will try to remain away from the drugs. And other than that, every week the teacher should take class on the awareness programs about these social evils, including drugs, alcohols, and tobaccos, all these things. So there are may not be the qualified counselors available in the school, but the teachers who are knowledgeable, they themselves can make them aware. They can take the help of media, they can take the help of administrations, including police, for organizing interactions with them. So once they are in the creative habits, creative activities, and in the good company, then they will remain safe. Then they will remain safe. And that simultaneously, if any abnormal behavior is noticed, they should not try to hide it. Family should be immediately intimated by the teachers that, see, that some abnormal behavior is noticed. So what is the problems with your students? Kindly let us know. They can organize joint counseling session by inviting parents in the school also, and give them good motivation, because the students, they remain under tension not only because of academic pressures, but also because of the domestic atmosphere. Sometimes if the parents are not at cordial relation with each other, then it gives a lot of strain and stress to the students. If the family is broken socially, then it can lead to the lot of stress in the minds of youngsters, and then generally to overcome those stress, they resort to the alcohol and drugs. So if they remain vigilant, so definitely it can be controlled or checked at the very beginning stage itself. But once they become addicted, then the family and teachers should not hide them and immediately take students for the medical help. Otherwise, the problem will continue to increase, and at one stage, it will be beyond our control.
So there is a kind of a belief that drug abuse is a rich child's problem. How true is this?
To some extent, initially it was there. But now all sections of society start taking drugs. Not only rich, but very poor section, then middle level family. We have found that addict from every section of the society. So we can't say that it is only in the rich families. And that is another complex issue, because it can also lead to petty crimes. When the drug addicts are from the poorer section of the society and they will not have sufficient money to purchase drugs, then generally they resort to petty crimes like snatching or mobile snatching of change and small time theft, etc. from the shops. So those kinds of petty crimes by the drug addicts make the issue more complex and complicated. So to overcome these problems, again, the prevention is the key. Awareness is the key. We should emphasize more on prevention and awareness rather than on enforcement.
So what is your message to the youth, sir?
My message is that the youth should remain away from drugs all the times. They should resist the temptations of temporary pleasures that drugs offer. And it is easier to stay off the drugs than to get off the drugs if they are really aware about the ill effects of the drug abuse. They should remain away, not only themselves, but also make other youth to remain away from drugs. And they should always say no to drugs and yes to healthy and happy life. Because for us, the lives of youth are as precious as diamond. We cannot remain blind towards the plights of millions of youth in the nations. Otherwise, it will be a huge economic loss. Once the youth become drug addict, they are good for nothing. You can't take any work out of them. Their productivity become big zero.
Exactly.
So that is why they should remain away from drug. If you ask one line message to me, simple, say no to drug and yes to healthy life.
Thank you so much, sir. It was absolutely lovely listening to you, and I'm sure this is going to be very, very useful to our youth, to the teachers, to the parents, community leaders, and religious leaders. Thank you for giving your time.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much. God bless you.